Today I'm showing you how to make matcha cream puffs or matcha choux craquelin at home. To start, we're going to make a matcha pastry cream. Get 3 egg yolks into a bowl with 75 grams or a third of a cup of sugar, 30 grams or 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 2 teaspoons of matcha green tea powder. Now whisk this all together. As you begin to whisk, you're going to think, Kristen, what the heck, this is just a big dry lump, but give it a minute. Keep stirring and it will liquefy once the cornstarch is absorbed. Now get 250 milliliters or 2 cups of milk into a pot, along with 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and get it on the heat until just barely simmering. Before I temper the hot milk into the matcha and egg mixture, I'm just going to use a towel to create a little nest for the bowl. This helps to keep it in place while you're whisking. Slowly pour the warm milk into the bowl, whisking to combine. We do this slowly to bring the eggs up to temperature without scrambling them. Now that all the milk is combined, pour the mixture back into the pot and get this over low heat. We're going to cook this until it's thickened, which is about when the first bubble appears under the surface. Whisk constantly to prevent the bottom from catching, and once thick, remove from the heat immediately and stir in 50 grams or 3 tablespoons of butter. Then, strain the pastry cream into a separate bowl. And use some cling film that's pressed flat against the surface of the pastry cream to prevent a skin from forming. Then, place it in the fridge to cool. Once that's cool, we're going to get 1 teaspoon of gelatin powder and bloom it in 2 tablespoons of cold water. Set this aside for 5 minutes. In a mixing bowl, pour in 1 cup of whipping cream and whisk until light and fluffy. Now add in 75 grams or a quarter cup of icing sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla and whisk to combine. Take your bloom gelatin and get it in the microwave for about 20 seconds to melt. Leave it to cool slightly so it's about room temperature, then slowly pour this into the whipped cream. This helps to stabilize the whipped cream and prevents it from going watery or separating. Now grab your cooled pastry cream and fold in the whipped cream in 3 additions. By adding the whipped cream to the pastry cream, this is now what we call a diplomat cream. Don't ask me why. Once mixed, set this in the fridge until later. Now we're going to make our craquelin topping. For this, get 100 grams or a quarter cup of butter and 100 grams or half a cup of sugar into a bowl and cream together. Then add in 100 grams or 2/3 of a cup of flour and some green food coloring. I'm using food color instead of matcha to color these because they get baked at quite a high temperature and it would just burn the tea and make it bitter. Lay out a long piece of parchment and place your craquelin dough on top, then fold the parchment over and using a rolling pin, roll the dough out until it's about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. Place the dough on a flat sheet and set it in the freezer until firm. Once frozen, peel off one side of the parchment and use a round cutter to punch out circles of the craquelin. Then place the rounds onto a parchment-lined pan and get these back in the freezer. Now for the choux pastry. In a pot, combine 236 grams of water, 115 grams of butter, and half a teaspoon of salt. Then place this on medium heat until simmering. Once the butter has melted and the liquid is simmering, dump in 145 grams of flour in one addition. Then use a wooden spoon and stir. The mixture will start out lumpy, but keep stirring and it will become a smooth dough. Stir this around for about 3 to 5 minutes to dry out the batter slightly. Then remove this from the heat and leave it to cool for about 10 minutes. While that's cooling, crack 4 large eggs into a bowl and whisk to combine. Then we're going to add the eggs into the dough in 4 additions. Pour in a little bit of the egg mixture and stir until smooth and combined. I'm adding in the eggs slowly because I want to check between each addition that the choux pastry isn't too soft. We want it to be smooth and pipeable, but still hold its shape. You can tell the batter is a good consistency if when you remove the spoon, it pulls a V of dough at the bottom of the spoon, or when you run your finger through the dough, it leaves a little line where the edges don't collapse inwards. Get your choux pastry into a piping bag fitted with a round tip, and pipe them onto a silpat lined baking sheet. I wanted mine to be quite big, but you can make yours smaller if you like. Just remember when you're spacing them on the tray that they grow to be about 3 times their original size. Grab your Craquelin topping from the freezer and gently place the disc on top of each choux. Bake for 30 to 40 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 Celsius. I just wanted to take a minute to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. The class I've been watching most recently is called Find Your Style, 5 exercises to unlock your creative identity. Andy J. Pizza, an artist and designer, walks you through 5 exercises to help you unlock your creative identity. One thing that I really liked about this class is that his advice isn't just illustration specific, it can be applied to any medium, whether that's food, film, design, painting, or photography. Skillshare also offers dozens of classes on all these different subjects separately, and it's curated specifically for learning, meaning that there are no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. If you're interested, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description box below will get a free trial of premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. Once the choux have finished baking, they'll look like this. Inside they should be light and airy, almost hollow, which is great because we're going to fill them with our matcha diplomat cream, and on the outside they should have a nice crisp shell. Before I fill them, I like to just pop a small hole in the bottom of each choux to make things easier. Then get your matcha filling into a piping bag fitted with a round tip. You'll want to fill the choux completely until they feel quite heavy in your hand. Serve and enjoy. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hitting the bell button, and feel free to connect with me on Instagram at chefstudio_. Thanks for watching.